Hi, welcome to More People, More Problems, a podcast hosted by Chelsea and myself, Brittany.
But it's not your typical HR podcast.
That's right. It's definitely not. It's three best friends that decided to get together. So, Chelsea, myself, Brittany, and Katie, who's the wonderful woman behind the camera. You'll get to know Chelsea and myself pretty well through the podcast. And we might talk some shit about Katie because she has no say about it. Mind you, she does edit the podcast. So, she might cut that out.
Yeah, oh, you'll definitely hear a lot about Katie. She just won't have a say in any of it. Well, until she
Ex-
edits, right?
exactly. So, who's the podcast for, Chelsea? What are we thinking here?
HR leaders, people managing teams, really like anyone who wants to just sit and have a good time too.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think the podcast, we're hoping to get listeners who really, in their day to day life are bringing people together and trying to figure out better ways of doing so. I think we're all, whether it's in work or life, on a mission to do more, to do better, to try and figure things out. And hopefully, some of our tips, tricks,
Mhm.
deep dives will help you get there because we're going to focus on talking about how to bring people together on route to a common mission.
And hopefully have a bit of fun while we're doing it, obviously.
You'll get the humor from Chelsea, maybe less so from me. I mean,
You
hopefully
you
I'm funny.
try. You
I
try. You
try.
try. You try.
You try. Good job, hon. Good job. Okay, so what can you expect from us? I would say that when we were talking about this, we really wanted to make sure that we were going to be bold, honest, authentic, that you were going to get, truth serum from us, that we weren't going to bullshit. What else would you add?
Well, all the truths, obviously, that's really important. I mean, we're definitely going to bring up life experiences, our own past. It's always going to be our commitment to preserve confidentiality. But for sure, when we're talking about ourselves, we're going to spill the tea. So, like, we're going to go all the dirty little secrets and all the little tidbits and whatnot. Like, we have to, right?
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly, you're gonna get it all. And I mean, to be honest, we've had quite the story both in our personal lives and work lives. So I think we got a lot of tea to share. Tea and also experience. And so let's get into that a little bit. Like I want to get into our life stories. So people, listeners, hopefully we have some listeners, come on and, get to know us and understand why we're bringing value, why you should listen, I guess. And so Chelsea, tell me about your life. How did you get here? You don't need
Start
to go to like childhood, but you know what
Start
I
from
mean?
the beginning. So I was born on a warm July day. No, I'm just kidding. No, well, you and I have been friends for almost 20 years now. So we've been friends for
Yeah.
almost 20 years. We both
That
kind of
made me
had,
feel so old right there.
yeah,
Ugh.
it has. Like in reality, it has been exactly 20 years this year, I think, actually.
We should do a friendship anniversary just as a side
Oh,
note.
a
But anyways, we'll come
friendiversary,
back to you, right?
friendiversary. Yeah, I love it. Good idea. That's a trip, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so our lives, obviously, we've been friends for ages. We both kind of took really different paths in our
Yeah.
lives as we hit our late teens, like early 20s. We both went to university. I met and married fairly young. My soulmate. Just kidding, like, Carrie-
Gary's gonna love this.
oh gosh, and had kids fairly young. Worked in the public service, still work in the public service, been in the public service for what, 11 years now. I think it's 11 or 12 years, and have kind of
And
moved
for
my way up.
any I'm gonna just say for any listeners that are like public service, what does that mean? Chelsea joined the government. We live in Ottawa, Ontario, which is a government town. It's the capital of Canada for anyone that doesn't know. Most people don't know that. They're like, "Toronto?" I'm like, "No, Ottawa. Give it some praise." But, because of that, big demographic of our workforce is the government, and so it's a great
Sure.
way to get in, has a lot of stability. That came out really weird. Stability
Savability.
and yeah, I don't even this is a Britneyism. You're gonna hear lots of those. But I think it was great. So you joined as an admin assistant?
I was an admin assistant in that for a
Yeah.
couple of months, worked my way up to an executive assistant, and then finally transferred into roles that were more autonomous, working on files and whatnot. And I've been in a leadership position for the last couple of years. And I mean, it's been fantastic. It's like you really get to know a whole other side of work with people that you never would have expected and you don't give leaders
Yeah.
credit for, and it's chaos and beauty and chaos, but fun all the same. But yeah, that's kind of my story. Thanks for the plug about Ottawa and like where we are. It's good context for people to know public servant government. What
Yeah.
about you?
No, I love
Obviously,
that.
bit
So for
different.
me, yeah, this is why I think we loved the idea of a podcast so much when we were, drinking wine at a cottage and deciding to do this was because we both have so much experience, I'll say, in life about being around other humans. And we both have different skill sets, strengths, and weaknesses, let's say. And so there's that. But then professionally, you're coming from the government sector and I'm coming from the private sector. So I worked at a tech company called Shopify for 11 years. I joined when we were 22 employees and we took it to over 10,000 employees, took it public in 2015, and really built the environment and the talent culture and a bit of operations along the way. And so I saw just hyper growth scale. I saw a shit ton of shit. And I didn't love every second of it. That would be a lie. And I said
Yeah.
earlier that we're going to give truth. So I didn't love every second of it. It was hard. And I didn't really have a life for a long time because, as you can imagine, to be as successful and really doing that job, I gave it my everything. And so what I will say is though, however challenging it was one of the best experiences of my whole life. I owe a lot to it and I love thinking about it even with the gnarly bits. And so yeah, I built the HR team. It was just myself and then I built it out to I think around 420 employees. But that was that I mean, we'll get into this in a further episode when we get into HR lingo and what the fuck is it? Because I think like HR, human resources, such shit. It was a talent team. We focused on humans. We used behavioral economics as a foundation and psychology and sociology. And so I'm really big on some of those foundational elements. But it was the best time of my life. And then actually leading to the end of my career at Shopify, I really started to open up and focus on my personal life. I decided one day I did want to get married and I did want a family and I wanted these things. And so the parallel story is just my personal growth, which came a little later in life, as you know, Chels. And I'm happy to report that I got married a year ago tomorrow, actually, which is fun. And it's been a great experience just building up my personal life and family and focusing on that. And since leaving Shopify, I'm doing a few cool things. I'm an operating advisor for a VC company out of the States. I'm doing some angel investing that is focused on women and non-binary, really trying to create a platform for some of the minority demographics to raise and become founders if we can help. And also doing some consulting and advising outside of that. So I get to dabble and learn a shit ton about a bunch of different industries and at different stages, which has really been fun because I, like, get off one of those calls and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, I really wanna share, I wanna think more about that. How is that influencing at different stages of companies?" And a lot of it, kinda talking to intention, is around leadership. It's around, how do you bring people together in a common mission and get more shit done because you can't do it alone. And so, we'll get into all of that, and I think both your background and my background are just gonna be really complementary because 'cause we're gonna fight a little, we're gonna disagree, and we're also gonna complement each other a lot.
Yeah, I definitely don't think we'll always share the same opinion. I think we'll be a little bit contrary at times, but also similar. So I completely agree. I think it's going to be a really fun way to share our thoughts and views with others and hopefully help out a little bit with any situations other people are dealing with that we've similarly experienced in our careers and also in like your personal lives as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you just mentioned in your journey being hyper focused on work for so many years, and in my career and in the last 10, 12 years it's been juggling work and
yeah,
children and family and responsibilities all at the same time. So we have a really, really different outlook on things. We diverge in some areas and we converge in
yeah.
others, which is fun and interesting, but that's why we gel so well.
Yeah, and I mean, we're best friends. There's, like, the brutal honesty and comfort of each other, and so hopefully you'll get more of our humor as we go. I mean, we definitely have a lot of fun, laugh a lot, and learn a thing or two with each other, which actually hence is how this podcast came about. So, like, maybe we'll end with this. We decided to do this because we were at your cottage for your birthday. Chelsea does an annual epic cottage weekend, but I won't go into details on that. But we were together and you were going through some challenges at work. And so we started talking through it. And it was actually you, Katie, and myself. and we were having a bottle of wine and we're going into it and we're solving, our biggest life problems together. And then somehow, maybe bottle two in, we were like, we could do a fucking podcast. Next thing you know, here we are. So, disclaimer, I do swear a lot, but I'll try and hold it back as a sidebar. But yeah, no, we definitely took what I guess we found valuable and thought, let's try this out with the world.
I think, like, we were just feeling like we're helping each other so much, and
Yeah.
then, you've had a couple of drinks, you're a little bit emotional, and then I think we both checked in with each other the next day and went like,
Yeah.
"So, is that like, do we wanna do that, or were we just both a few glasses in, and it was just this funny, silly idea?" And then we're like, "No, no, that'd be great, let's totally do that," and then, I don't know, like, it's been months kind of just chatting and talking and preparing, and then here we are, of course, like, trying to broadcast our intro episode to get people to know us a little bit, and I don't know, it's gonna be an exciting experience, I think.
I agree. So, More People, More Problems, hosted by Chelsea and Brittany. You're going to get a real, honest, bold take on human challenges and opportunities. And you're going to get a lot of laughs. The structure of our show, we're going to go deep in content. Hopefully, you like learn a thing or two while laughing. And then we're going to end up with wine time, where, as you can tell, we drink wine and we bitch about things, or else we just laugh about things. So, come enjoy with us. Hopefully, you get to know us a little bit over the next, hopefully, years and join in on the fun.
And thanks for listening.